What is up, everybody? Turboverse TV here today. And just when you think you've seen the most crazy stuff on social media, a Sony fanboy has to outdo the other one. So this guy is comparing Square Enix with Final Fantasy VII Remake to Outriders, which they are truly trying to blame Outriders for. They're trying to blame Game Pass for this Outriders not being a success or not doing too well. So this is what he wrote, which is completely ridiculous, but let's get into this post. He says, here's the difference where Square Enix releases a game exclusively to PlayStation console, day one on Xbox Game Pass. One is over 3.5 million copies in 3 days, and the other is unprofitable after 4 months of the release date. You love to see it. He's comparing Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is a game that was highly sought after. This is probably Final Fantasy VII is probably like the most popular RPG of all time, the original one. Definitely the most popular Final Fantasy, probably the most popular RPG of all time. The thing is that the thing has its own movie. It has its own movie based around the universe Final Fantasy VII. The characters have been in different games, other properties. So that's like probably one of the most popular RPGs of all time. So it's not a shocker that the remake of that game is gonna sell a lot so quickly. While an unknown IP, which is not even that great, is mediocre. Even people who said they put a lot of time into the game said the game was super buggy. So it's not a fair comparison, but just blame Game Pass. Blame Microsoft and Game Pass because the people on Xbox guys didn't buy the game. Even though this game was literally on every platform besides the Switch, even on Stadia. It's even on Stadia. But just blame Game Pass to why the developers didn't pay royalties. These Sony guys are just completely ridiculous at this point. So let's read the comments people are saying about what this guy said. Not a fair comparison. A new IP that doesn't really bring anything new to the table versus a remake of one of the most highly regarded JRPGs ever made. Exactly. I was gonna get this one on light because that comment makes so much sense. It's like, no duh. It's like, it's not even comparable. Of course, the one's gonna sell a lot more than the other one. It's just a dumb comment to make in the first place. A dumb comparison to make in the first place. Imagine comparing a new IP to one of the biggest franchises of all time and acting surprised as a result. LMAO clown. Every established franchise was once a new IP. Really? Stop trying to defend what the original poster said. It's just getting ridiculous at this point. Outriders had 3.5 million users, so people forget Game Pass is not only on Xbox but on PC. So why buy it when you can play it on free on Game Pass? Even if PlayStation sold 1.66 million, would still be short of units to break even. So yeah, Game Pass is at fault. What? Well, excuse me for not wanting to spend my, what was it, 60 or so? I think $60 for that game was complete trash. I'm glad Game Pass exists. So that lets me know that if a game that comes out which is very trash, I don't have to spend my money on it. So it is just dumb to blame Game Pass for this game flopping. Outriders is not on PC Game Pass. Stupidest comparison of the day, you've won. The issue here is that Outriders was a new IP, so it doesn't have the same name recognition, and it infamously had and still has awful server issues. When it's supposed to be a multiplayer game on top of multiplayer games, like this don't do that well in general. Division/Avengers. Yeah, that Avengers game didn't even do well, and that's a popular IP. That's even at least you can make the argument for the Avengers game, but that game just if they just made that game a single player game, just focus on single player, that game probably would have done a lot better. But since they made it multiplayer and made it games as a service, it flopped. A big belly flop, humongous flop. Division, Destiny, Ghost Recon, etc. All these looters do massive numbers. IP with millions of fans since PS1 versus new IP that was buggy as F. Yeah, like what kind of point was he making here? Well, they are making these Mr. Fantastic reaches to try to make any type of point. Like this comparison was so dumb. I'm pretty sure Outriders launched on PlayStation as well, right? Or are we just ignoring that altogether? Asking for a friend. Most games launching on day one Game Pass are automatically diluted in value on all platforms. It's an admission by the publisher that they're not confident their game will sell at $60. That is so not true. Like what? They also missed out on sales for PS5 they could have had. Of course, I didn't buy the game because I knew it was coming to Game Pass day one. All the people who have both systems did the same thing, I'm sure. I mean, how could that be true when MLB The Show, which had the same similar situation, it released on both, it released on Game Pass Day 1 and released on PlayStation consoles, but it was still profitable for the people on Xbox. It was still they still made a lot of money off the Xbox version of the game. So I don't agree with this statement that he made right here. Let's just see. I can sum it up even better. One is already an established IP, loved by millions. The other is a new IP, which is average, along with being extremely buggy. By the way, why didn't you compare it with Marvel's Avengers instead? Final Fantasy 7. Is it because it's different? It doesn't fit your narrative. They moved the goalposts when needed. Don't mind the ponies. If Game Pass wasn't doing good, it wouldn't be getting more titles. Exactly. Like if Microsoft wasn't doing great with Game Pass, they would have been in at that service. It wouldn't be getting more exclusive games they want into the service. It's just ridiculous at this point. Yeah, let's compare the sales of a remake of a beloved game to a brand new IP. Yeah, people are pretty much saying the same statement. They're going on with the same sentiment. Like, it doesn't make any sense to compare one of the most popular RPG games of all time to a new IP, which is mediocre and buggy. You realize you're comparing a new, barely advertised IP to Final effing Fantasy, correct? Not to mention a remake fans wanted over decades. Yeah, even when they announced the remake, people were like losing their minds. People were crying and yelling to the top of their lungs about the first like teaser trailer or announcer trailer we had for Final Fantasy remake. So two different ballparks with this one. You can't compare Final Fantasy with a new IP. Even in a well-established IP, very few can be compared with Final Fantasy. This is just the old customer captivity technique used by Microsoft with Windows since 1985. Game Pass is trying to make gamers believe about getting something for free, but reality is just an investment to become the only option. Then the payback time will come. What? What am I even reading with that post right there? That comparison makes no sense. FF7 was a class that was guaranteed to sell. How come the PlayStation's partnership with the Avengers didn't save the game? It flopped more than Outriders did. Avengers sold way more copies than Outriders did. Clown. It was Avengers budget, which was never expected to be recouped. That okay. A lot of comments pretty much saying the same thing. You prepared for this tweet? It's like putting up the clown makeup. Okay. Are you really comparing a new IP with one of the most popular and beloved franchises in video games for F6 facepalm? And are you on drugs? I feel this is kind of celebrating a developer not doing well. The game sucked. I played all the way through campaign on one character, and it completely falls apart after that. They completely wiped everyone's progress on accident, and after nerfing every class, haven't fixed login issues, and still have a ton of bugs. Yeah, people don't realize that while Game Pass is a blessing for gamers, developers / publishers now have to think about what kinds of games to release on Game Pass Day 1, and whether to wait 6 to 12 months before making it available on the service to turn a profit. Man, I wanted to do Netflix have that same situation. Is Netflix facing that same situation? It's like, I gotta keep bringing Netflix up each time I talk about Game Pass because it's kind of like, Netflix is a very similar service. It's kind of like they got exclusive content, but apparently it's just only a bad thing for Game Pass for some reason. That's not a fair comparison. One has a huge nostalgia factor, and another is a brand new IP. They made their most money from Xbox. Yeah, a lot of people keep saying the same comment. Let's see. Xbox crying, haha, you love to see it. Okay, so apparently this is like a list of all the different games who, like he says, Marvel Avengers still hasn't turned a profit since the release. Okay, so they haven't made a profit on that one. Square Enix is disappointed by sales of Tomb Raider, want to maximize profits during development. So they make profits during Tomb Raider. Okay. Hitman games on hold after Square Enix drops the developer IO Interactive. Okay, so that game didn't do very well. Hitman 3 earns all his money back in just 1 week, making it a Hitman. Okay. So it's like they have a rocky history of some of these games being successful, being profitable or not. So then what is this? This one says Square Enix believes Outriders Game Pass launch has paid off. Okay. So at one breath they're happy about they're being on Game Pass. Now they're not happy. Like, okay, let's see. A lot of people keep saying the same comment. I want to keep reading the same comment over and over again. Hold this L. Yo, did you drop something? L. Here you go. Apple pears something something. Seems like a stretch to me comparing one of the roles. Yeah, I was calling the same context about the commentary before. This is a horrible take. Anything in Final Fantasy will sell no matter what it is. Guess Avengers wasn't profitable because it was on PS Now. You could say that too, because that game was on PS Now, and that game wasn't. But still, it's not making a profit for Square Enix. So you could say the same argument, but it would be dumb, just as like the argument he's making. Oof, that is a poor comparison. Final Fantasy 7 was also playable at launch. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to do a comparison. Um, Yeah, so I don't know if I even want to read I guess let's read some of the quote tweets. Like most people probably saying the same thing. So what is this? Hypocrites, you love to see them. Square Enix confirms Marvel Avengers is yet to break even following slow initial sales. Yeah, a lot of people are saying the same thing, even with the quote tweets. So I want to conclude it right here. Well, I guess I'll read this last one. Ponies keep reaching for straws, man. What's the excuse for Avengers and Tomb Raider then? I thought they supported Avengers because of Spider-Man. Yeah, it's like doesn't make any sense with this comparison. It's like they are just clearly reaching at this point. Like this is one of the most weirdest comparisons I've seen on social media. But anything to slam Game Pass, they will make a reach for it. So it is what it is. Definitely share your thoughts down below. Leave a like if you like this video. And as always, thanks for watching and peace.